Hello students, let's start with the next topic, that is field. Now what is definition of a field? So in last lecture we have seen the definition of ring. Now a field is a ring in which the multiplication is commutative, that is the ring is a commutative ring. So before the definition of field, let us see another some definition like commutative ring, ring with unity like this. Now any ring is said to be commutative ring if the second operation, that is multiplication operation, is commutative. Okay, a ring in which the multiplication is commutative ring. Again, next ring. What is ring with unity? A ring with a multiplicative identity element is a ring with unity, and the multiplicative identity element 1 is called unity. So commutative ring means multiplication is commutative. Now for any ring, addition is already commutative because it is abelian group by first property. Okay, so commutative ring means a ring in which multiplication is commutative, and ring with unity means unity with respect to multiplication exists because unity with respect to addition already exists because any ring is abelian group first. Okay, so this is about commutative ring and ring with unity. Now there is one note that a direct product R1 cross R2 cross RA of ring is commutative. This direct product is commutative or has unity if and only if each of these ring is commutative or each of these ring has unity respectively. Okay. Next is multiplicative inverse. Now what is multiplicative inverse? So by name, multiplicative inverse means uh, in any ring for each element, if the multiplicative inverse for each element exists, then we say that that inverse is multiplicative inverse. So like a multiplicative inverse of an element A in a ring R with unity 1, which is non-zero, is an element A inverse belongs to R such that A into A inverse is equal to A inverse A is equal to 1. Means what? A inverse is multiplicative inverse of element A. Again, if multiplicative inverse of an element A in R exists, then it is unique. If multiplicative inverse exists, then that is always unique. Okay. Next is definition of unit. Now what is unit? So in ring, any element, if it has a multiplicative inverse, then that element is said to be unit. So look at this definition. Let R be a ring with unity 1 is non-zero. Okay, unity 1 which is non-zero. An element U in R is a unit in R if it has multiplicative inverse in R. So unit is any element in a ring which has multiplicative inverse. Okay. Note that there is a difference between definition of unit and definition of unity. Okay. Unity means multiplicative identity, and unit means element of a ring which has multiplicative inverse. Okay. Next is definition of division ring or skew field. What is that? If every non-zero element of R is a unit, then R is a division ring, or it is also called as skew field. If any non-zero element is a unit, means what? If any non-zero element has a multiplicative inverse, then that ring is said to be division ring or skew field. Next is definition of field. What is field? A field is a commutative division ring. Means what? First of all, it must be commutative, and division ring means, this is definition of division ring. Division ring means if every non-zero element is a unit. Means what? Every non-zero element has a multiplicative inverse. So in another language, as it has multiplicative inverse means definitely it has multiplicative identity. Okay. So in another way, the definition of field can be say that a field is a commutative ring with unity in which every non-zero element has multiplicative inverse. Okay. So field is commutative ring with unity in which every non-zero element has multiplicative inverse. Another is strictly skew field means what? It is a non-commutative division ring is called as a strictly skew field. Okay. Now next is example of find units in Z4 for Z14. So we have seen definition of what is unit. Unit means an element which has multiplicative inverse. So first of all, now let us find units in Z14. So first of all, what is Z14? Z14 is set of all elements from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 13. Okay. Here is one note that if A is a unit in R, then so minus A. Then its additive inverse is also unit. So now let us find. Now we have to find out units in Z14 means we have to find out from Z14. These are elements 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 13 means we have to find out the element from these which has multiplicative inverse. So what is multiplicative identity? Multiplicative identity is 1. No. Now unit unit means first of all it must be non-zero element. So let's start from 1. So 1 into 1 is 1. 1 is multiplicative identity. 1 is element from Z14. 1 into 1, 1 means 1 is multiplicative inverse of 1. This 1 is also belongs to Z14 means we can say 1 is unit in Z14. Why this is so? Because 1 has a multiplicative inverse as 1. Again, by this note, as A is a unit, minus A is also unit. So 1 is a unit means minus 1 is also unit. But what is minus 1? Minus 1 is 13 in Z14. Why this is so? If we divide 13 by 14, so what will be remainder? Remainder will be minus 1. So minus 1 is equivalent to 13. So 13 and 13 is element of Z14. So 13 is also unit in Z14. Again, so for 2, we will find out if we multiply 2 by some elements from Z14, we don't get 1. But if we take 3 into 5, we get 15. Under multiplication modulo 14, the remainder is 1. So 3 and 5 are units. Why? 3 into 5 is 15. Also 5 into 3 is 15 means 5 is multiplicative inverse of 3. 3 is multiplicative inverse of 5 because their product is 1. Again, minus 3. What will be minus 3? Minus 3 will be 11. Minus 5 will be 9. Because we divide 11 by 14, the remainder is minus 3. We divide 9 by 14, the remainder will be minus 5. So these are also units. Means which are the units? Which are units 1, 3, 5, 9, 11. These are units of Z14 because their multiplicative inverse exists. But not that. None of the remaining elements of Z14 can be units since no multiple of these elements can be one more than the multiple of 14 because we want the remainder 1. Okay. So another elements are not units. So there is a simple trick to find the units. So that is a note. The units in Zn are precisely those elements from Zn such that GCD of M and N is 1. Okay, means Zn. Okay, any element M from Zn is a unit if GCD of M and N is 1. Now you can observe here what are units. What is Z14? Z14 is elements 0, 1, 2 up to 30. This is Z14. And which units we find? Units are 1, 3, 5, 9, 11. Okay, 1, 3, 5, 9, 11. These are units. Okay, again 13 is also unit. Its multiplicative inverse exists. Now you can check. This is our N. This is M. GCD of 1 and 14 1. GCD of 3 and 14 1. GCD of 5 and 14 1. 9 and 14 GCD 1. 11 and 14 GCD 1. 13 and 14 GCD 1. For remaining elements, 2 GCD of 2 and 14 is 2. 4 and 14 means that is not 1. So remember that for Zn, any element M belongs to Zn is a unit of Zn. It is a unit for Zn, any element m belongs to Zn is a unit if and only if GCD of m and n is 1. So using this note, you can directly calculate, or you can directly say the units of Zn. Another question is Z a field? Okay, so first of all, what is Z? Z is elements dot 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 -3 -2 -1 1 0 1 2 3. This is set of integer. What is definition of field? Field is a commutative ring with unity in which every non-zero element has multiplicative inverse. So first of all, we know it is a Z is a commutative ring with unity. Yes, multiplicative identity 1 exists. It is a commutative ring with unity. The third is multiplicative inverse of every non-zero element exists. Let us check. Let us take 1. Multiplicative inverse of 1 is 1. Minus 1. Multiplicative inverse of minus 1 is minus 1, because we get identity here. For 2, we want 1 here. What will be the element required here? 1/2. But is 1/2 belongs to Z? No, 1/2 is not element of Z. Okay, means what? Multiplicative inverse of 2 does not exist. So similarly, for all these elements, the multiplicative inverse does not exist. So these all elements are not units. Only units in Z are 1 and minus 1. Okay, so the property of a field, that is every non-zero element must have multiplicative inverse, does not satisfy. So the given set, that is set of integers Z, is not a field. So that is solution. Z is a, first of all, it is a commutative ring with unity, but multiplicative inverse of every non-zero element of Z does not exist. For example, 2 has no multiplicative inverse in Z, that is 2 is not a unit in Z, because what will be 2 into what will be 1 1/2, but 1/2 is not in Z, so 2 is not a unit in Z. The only units in Z are 1 and minus 1. However, Q and R, so by this reason Z is not a field, but Q and R are fields. Okay, all the properties of fields are satisfied, so Q and R are fields. Next is definition of a subring. So what is subring? By it is similar to definition of subgroup. Okay, so a subring of a ring is a subset of a ring that is a ring under induced operations from the whole ring. Means subring is a subset of ring, and it is ring itself by the operations which is already defined for ring. Similarly, a subfield of a field is a subset of the field that is a field under induced operations from the whole field. Okay, it must be subset first of all, and then it must satisfy the operations of a field. So next is the definition of integral domain. So before definition of integral domain, we need a definition of divisor of 0, or we call it as a zero divisor. So what is that definition? So if A and B are two non-zero elements of a ring R such that A into B is 0, then A and B are divisors of 0 or zero divisors. What is divisor of 0? A and B both are non-zero, but their product is 0. Okay, A and B both non-zero, but their product 0, then the two elements are called as divisors of 0. For example, in Z12, 2 is non-zero, 6 is non-zero, but their product 6 into 2 12, under multiplication modulo 12 it is, in Z12 it is 12 is 0. 3 into 4 12, which is 0. 8 3 24, which is 0. Means this 2 6 3 4 8 3, all these are elements from Z12, their product is 0. These elements itself non-zero, but their product is 0. So all these elements 2 3 4, okay, 6 8 9 6 9 10, all are divisors of 0. Okay, now here you can note one thing. Now it is Z12, and these 2 3 4 6 8 9, all are not relatively prime to 12. Okay, which are divisors of 0, which elements are not relatively prime to 12. So you can take it as a note. Note that all these divisors of 0 are not relatively prime to 12. So to find out the divisors of 0 in Zn, so using this example we can take one theorem. We get a statement of one theorem, that is, in the ring Zn, the divisors of 0 are, which are divisors of 0? Which are precisely those non-zero elements that are not relatively prime to n. Okay, now in this example, in this Z12, which are divisors of 0? These elements are not relatively prime to 12. Means what? GCD of 212, 312, 412 is not equal to 1. Means not relatively prime to 12. So these are divisors of 0. So using this example, you can take it. You can remember this, that in the ring Zn, okay, ring must be Zn. The divisors of 0 are precisely those non-zero elements which are not relatively prime to Zn. Okay, we are skipping the proof of this, and corollary from this theorem is, if P is a prime, what happens? If P is a prime, then Zp has no divisors of 0. Why this is so? What we have learned just. What is theorem? What is our theorem? Zn divisors of 0 are, in Zn divisors of 0 are the elements which are not relatively prime to n, not relatively prime to n. So if P is a prime, then Zn has no divisors of 0. The divisors of Zn is elements which are relatively prime to n. In Zp, all elements, now Zp are elements, P is a prime, okay, Zp is set of 0, 1 up to P minus 1. Here, as P is a prime, all these non-zero elements from 1, 2, 3 up to P minus 1, all are relatively prime to P. All elements are relatively prime to P means all elements are not divisors of 0, because divisors of 0 are only those elements which are relatively prime to P. But here, sorry, which are not relatively prime to P. But here, all elements are relatively prime to P, so there is no 0 divisor, so Zp has no 0 divisors. Okay. Now, there is another law, that is cancellation law. In group theory, you learned it about cancellation. If R is a ring and let ABC are any three elements from R, the cancellation laws hold in R. If AB is equal to AC with A non-zero, this A is non-zero, so we can divide both sides by A, so we get B is equal to C, that is left cancellation law. And if BA is equal to CA with A not equal to 0, this implies B is equal to C, that is right cancellation law. Okay, these are multiplicative cancellation laws. Again, additive cancellation laws also hold in R, since R plus is a group. What is additive cancellation law? Is if A plus B is equal to A plus C, then B is equal to C, or if B plus A is equal to C plus A, then B is equal to C. This is additive cancellation law. There is one theorem related to cancellation law and divisors of 0, that is, the cancellation laws hold in a ring R if and only if R has no divisors of 0. If and only. It means if the cancellation law holds, then definitely R has no divisor of 0, or if R has no divisor of 0, then cancellation law hold in a ring R. Okay, I am skipping the proof of this. I already provided you the notes. You can go through in detail. Okay, remember the statement, cancellation law hold in ring if and only if R has no divisor of 0. Now let's move towards the definition of integral domain. So what is integral domain? An integral domain, let us denote it by capital D. It is a commutative ring with unity, which is non-zero, and containing no divisors of 0. It is commutative ring with unity containing no divisors of 0. No divisors of 0 means what? What is divisor of 0? Divisor of 0 implies A non-zero, B non-zero, but their product is 0. This is divisor of 0. What is not divisor of 0 means if product is 0, then either one of A or B is 0. That is not divisor of 0. Now the integral domain is commutative ring with unity containing no divisor of 0. Examples in Z. Z is set of integer. There is no divisor of 0 because there are no two elements such that both are non-zero but their product is 0. Similarly, ZP has no divisor of 0 and both are commutative with unity. So where here ZP, here P is a prime, okay? Here Z and ZP for any prime P are integral domains. Again, Zn is not an integral domain if n is not prime. If n is prime means that is ZP, then only it is integral domain, otherwise it is not integral domain. Next, the direct product. R cross S of two non-zero rings, R cross S is R and S is not an integral domain. Why not? These both are non-zero elements, R0, 0S. Both are non-zero but their product is 0, means it is with 0 divisor. And for integral domain we need, it must be not divisor of 0. So direct product of two rings is not an integral domain. Example is, show that although Z2 is an integral domain, the matrix ring M2 over Z2 has divisor of 0. Integral domain means it is commutative ring with unity and without 0 divisor. Now we know Z2 is integral domain. Why? Because 2 is a prime. We have just seen that if P is a prime, then it is integral domain. But if we form a matrix over Z2, then that has divisor of 0. That has divisor of 0 means we can take two non-zero elements from this M2Z, both are non-zero but their product is 0. So in Z2, 2 is a prime. By corollary, Z2 is an integral domain. To show M2Z2 has divisor of 0, what we need? We need to only observe that these two are non-zero elements over M2Z2. M2Z2 means what? M2 means it is 2 by 2 matrix. Z2 means entries are from Z2. Z2, which are elements from Z2, it is 0 and 1. So these two are non-zero matrix over M2Z2 but their product is 0. So it is with divisor of 0. Another theorem is every field F is an integral domain. First of all, what is definition of field? It is commutative ring with unity in which every non-zero element has multiplicative inverse. What is definition of integral domain? It is commutative ring with unity without 0 divisor. So first two properties are same. Both are commutative ring with unity. Okay. So we have to show if every field is integral domain. So let F be a field. F is a field means it is a commutative ring with unity in which every non-zero element has multiplicative inverse. So we have to show it is integral domain. So F is already commutative ring with unity. So what we need to show? We need to show that F has no divisor of 0. Okay. F has no divisor of 0 means we have to show if A into B is 0, then either A 0 or B 0. So for that, let us take two elements. Let AB belongs to F and suppose A non-zero. Okay. What we have to show? We have to show that it is without, it is integral domain. Every field is integral domain means we have to show it is without 0 divisor. Without 0 divisor means we have to show if A B 0, A non-zero, then we have to show B is 0. Okay, then only it is without 0 divisor. Okay, so let us show it. So we will consider these two parts. A into B 0, A non-zero, and we show B is equal to 0. Then it will be without 0 divisor. So let A into B belongs to it, F, and suppose A non-zero. Then if AB is 0, then we have. So this AB as it is, we multiply by 1 upon A, which is equal to this 1 upon A as it is. A into B, we have considered it as 0, so AB can be replaced by 0, which is equal to 0. But then this 0 as it is, this 1 upon A into AB, okay, it can be written as 1 upon A into B by associative property. 1 upon A into A is 1 into B. So we get B here. Means finally what we get? B is equal to 0. Means what we have shown, if AB is 0 with A non-zero, then if product 0, one element non-zero, then definitely another element is 0. Means what? There are no divisor of 0 in A. So we can say, because F is a commutative ring with unity without zero divisor, so definitely we can say that F is an integral domain. So what we have just proved, every field F is an integral domain. What about the converse part? Converse is not directly true. It is true only for finite integral domain. Means the next theorem is only finite, every finite integral domain is a field. Okay, what is that? Every finite integral domain is a field. Every field is integral domain, but every integral domain is not a field. It will, every integral domain, if that integral domain is finite, then only it will be field. So this is a graphical representation of rings. Some rings are commutative. So first of all, this is collection of all rings. Some rings are commutative rings. Some rings are rings with unity. So this part is a commutative ring. Okay, commutative ring with unity. Some are field. Okay, means this field means commutative ring with unity in which every non-zero element has multiplicative inverse. Every field is integral domain. Okay, every field is integral domain, but every integral domain is not a field. Some part is outside there, but some finite integral domain is a field. Okay, this is graphical representation. Again, there is one corollary, that is if P is a prime. If P is a prime, then ZP is a field. Now we have, by corollary we have seen, if P is a prime, then ZP is integral domain. Okay, we have seen if P is prime, ZP is an integral domain, and if ZP is an integral domain, it is finite integral domain, and we have just seen the theorem that every finite integral domain is a field, so ZP will be the field. Okay, let's stop here. In next lecture we will see about and characteristic of a ring and solve some examples. Let's stop. Thank you.